Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in the Cessna Skyhawk C172. We have a 29 nautical mile flight from 6 Papa 7 McVille to Lima Bravo Echo Arnold Palmer Regional. We'll be flying VFR, flying with real-world weather, and we'll be in WB Sim's C172 enhancement mod for the Cessna Skyhawk, which will give us an added level of realism for our flying. Should be an awesome flight. So let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Recall in our last flight we intended to go to McVille, but we didn't make it due to engine trouble. That's been fixed, and now we're at McVille, ready to carry on with our flying. So we'll start by verifying that our switches are off, our circuit breakers are all in, parking brakes set, mixture to idle cutoff. We'll head down here and get the trim set to the takeoff position. We'll push in the fuel shutoff valve and test the fuel selector for each position, then moving it back to the center position. Now we'll check that the prop is clear, and it looks good outside. Head down here, we'll flip the battery on, turn on the beacon to let people know that we're about to start the engine. And then the next bit is a quirk of WB Sim. It's not quite how you start a Cessna, but we're going to move in the mixture halfway, bring in the throttle a bit, turn on the fuel pump for just a second or two, and then crank it over. And sure enough, that works. So now we can bring the mixture into full rich, bring our RPMs up to 1,000. We'll head over here and make sure we have fuel pressure, which we do. So if you don't do it that way in WB Sim, it's actually easy to flood the engine, and you'll end up just playing with the starter multiple times to get it to work. So we leaned the mixture for ground operations. Now we're going to head down here to the switches, and we'll get our taxi light on, and because it's near sunset, we might fly after sunset. Nav lights are required after sunset, we'll get those on. We'll turn on bus 1 and bus 2 for avionics. Transponders booting up, that's in standby and squawking VFR, that looks good. We'll turn on both of the Garmins. While those boot up, I'll open up for flight and take you through the flight brief. So we've got a nice, simple, straight line flight plan for today. We do have some weather going on off to our west with a convective segment that's tracking to the northeast, so we'll be aware of it, although it won't reach us during our 29-mile flight. If we zoom in to McVille, we can tap on it and bring up the weather for the nearest airport that's reporting weather. Butler Regional with winds 190 at 3 and skies clear. Sounds good for VFR. So we're going to head southeast. Our first waypoint is Vandergrift. Second waypoint is Beaver Run Reservoir, easy to spot. Third one will be the crossing of Route 22, and then we'll get pattern entry directions from Tower for Arnold Palmer. There's a note on the sectional to check the chart supplement for when the tower's manned. So if we go to A/FD for the airport facility directory, we can zoom in to Arnold Palmer, and we can see that the hours where the tower is manned. Other hours reverts to Class G. McVille traffic, Skyhawk 5207 Quebec, taxi from the ramp to runway 32, hold short, McVille. So I can see the windsock here, and it's pointing to 32. It's going to swing into view in just a moment. It's just off to the right of this airplane. And the taxiway intersects the runway at midfield, so we're going to stop at the hold short lines before entering the runway, do our run up here, and then we'll have to back taxi down to 32 to depart from it. So we'll get the mixture into full rich for our run up, bring the throttle up to 1700. It's very important to do a run up with WB Sim's enhancement mod because you could have belt spark plugs and you can have engine problems, and this is your chance to discover that. So we are getting a good mag drop and an equal mag drop on both of our mags, so it looks like we're in pretty good condition for this flight. McVille traffic, Skyhawk 5207 Quebec, back taxi runway 32 for departure, McVille. Alright, game on. I mentioned that we are running with live weather, and it is the way to fly, if the weather permits. You know, there's some negatives to that. You might not be able to fly where you want because the weather doesn't permit, just like in real life. But the weather's dynamic, it updates. You'll see fronts in the distance. We have a front off to our west that's coming our way. So by running with live weather, we'll have different weather here than we will 15-20 miles from here, and that's going to change over the flight. McVille traffic, Sky 5207 Quebec, departing runway 32. We'll be doing a left downwind departure to the southeast at 3,500 McVille. Alright, airspeed's alive, engine gauges all look good. We are coming up on 55, and rotate. And I love the sound of the Boris Audio Works pack. That's what you just heard there. It gives you authentic C172 sounds. So we're going to turn left crosswind, turn left downwind, and keep on climbing to our cruise altitude. Everything looks good, so let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery.
A wiser man would tell you how to settle down when you're stranded in the clouds. A fool would never notice the storm that makes you fly, or the lightning in your eyes. But the wheel spins faster now, and everything you know will soon be left behind. When it's all over, will you still remember me as I was, or as you need? It's harder now to fake it, easier to lie, and no one bats an eye. The end feels like a spark, so you guard it with your heart, for when you wanna see the light and the world grows harder now, and everything before barely matters anymore. When it's all over, will you still remember me as I was, or as you need? When it's all over, will you still remember me as I was?
Alright, as we get the aircraft shut down, let's walk through the flight brief. So that was an awesome, simple, scenic flight, but I loved the little bit of complexity that running with live weather gave us, knowing that we had weather on both sides that's moving and dynamic. So you can see the clouds ahead, needed to keep an eye on those and plan our flight accordingly. So I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation flying like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.